Hello everyone, and welcome to Tuesdays with Tuesday. I'm Tuesday, and I write fantasy fiction under the name Mary E. Toomey. I have fantasy books, paranormal romance kind of stuff on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Kobo and Google Play and iBooks and all the regular ebook retailers. But today I thought I would read this one, Savage Hearts, the next chapter in my book, to you today, because I like being read to, and if you're anything like me, maybe you like being read to as well. So, if you have missed the previous 7 chapters, you might want to read those first, because otherwise this will make very little sense to you. So, today we're doing chapter 8. I saved my fancy bookmark in here, just for you. I have not read this since I published it in 2020, so a lot of this is quite a surprise for me as well. So we're going to have a fun little surprise together. Unfortunately, I remember very little of what I write. Within like a few months of publishing it, it's completely out of my brain, so I can focus on the next series. So this will be kind of fun. As a reminder, if you've read the book, or if you have seen my previous videos about this series, Santos is mute and he uses sign language to speak. And so in the text, when you're reading it, when he speaks, it is in italics, so you know that he's signing, he's using signing to speak. So to communicate that visually to you here, I'm just going to hold my hand up like this so that you know that Santos is speaking. Chapter 8. Scarred Sweetness. Adelita. My breath comes in heavy pants. I'm exhausted for one. I'm hungry and my whole body feels sluggish. On top of that, Santos pulls out a serrated blade that looks too menacing to be near me. If not for the calm caution in his eyes, I would run out of here screaming for sure. But what about your thigh? I question, unable to understand why he's bent on helping me when it's clear he's in pain from his self-inflicted wound. He manages a wan smile that doesn't touch his eyes. He is in pain, but he's more concerned about my welfare. He mimes cutting my shirt to warn me that's the only way it can come off without hurting my shoulder more. Before I can get anxious, he covers his eyes in a silent promise that he won't look. Well, you can't close your eyes if you've got a knife to my collar. He draws a chuckle from me when he solves the problem by closing one eye, as if that would fix it all. I can't hide my smile. Thank you, that's much better. He waits for my consent before clearing the foot of a gap between us in the tight space. He cuts a notch at the collar of the pink silk and then steps so close our stomachs are almost touching. He sets the knife on the sink and makes a show of closing his eyes. Santos presses his chin to my forehead, which is just about the only way I want a man to touch me right now. Even as he rips my blouse open from top to bottom, all I can think is that his skin is the only warm thing in my universe. Though the tearing of my blouse doesn't hurt, I gasp all the same. He keeps his chin on my hairline, and I realize he's doing that to assure me he's not looking. I'm relieved to the point of nearly getting emotional, but I limit my outpouring of gratitude to a simple, thank you. Cruz barks something from the other side of the door, but I don't pay attention. I've been cold all night, but Santos's chin is the first spot of heat I've been able to hold on to. I'm tired, and he feels like pure rest. When Santos pops open the button on my slacks, I decide I can figure out the rest on my own. I can do that part. Thanks for not making this more humiliating than it has to be. He keeps his chin on my forehead while he cuts my sling off. The whole thing is bizarrely comforting, despite all I've been through in less than 24 hours. I can't remember the last time a man was so careful with me. Come to think of it, I can't remember the last time I was close enough to smell my favorite spot on a man, the crook of his neck. Though I don't have my nose buried where it wants to be, it's close enough to give me that hit of euphoria I try not to crave. Smelling boys' necks won't get you closer to graduation. Smelling boys' necks won't help your patience. Still, the scent of Santos teases me in my weakened state. He smells like aftershave and fresh plants that are just on the verge of blooming. When Santos's fingers tap on the bra strap that's far too taut on my right shoulder, A blush warms my cheeks. My left bra strap was cut off yesterday so Santos could stitch me up. The whole contraption is barely usable. Still, as much as Santos has been decent through this whole ordeal, I don't want my imagination to run away with me, which is exactly what will happen if he unhooks my bra. He's 5 inches taller than me, so I make it a point not to lift my chin at all. If I look into his eyes from this close, it'll be bad. The whole thing will be too much. He's being kind, and I'm acting like a horny teenager on the verge of panting. "No thanks," I reply to his unspoken request. I'll get the remnants of the bra off myself, somehow. I've got it from here. Santos lowers his chin just enough to let his full lips brush over my forehead. It's not a kiss, but it's intimate. Or maybe it's not intimate at all, and I'm so out of practice being near a man that I'm imagining a love connection smack in the middle of a medical moment. I've never had a man kiss me there before, but for some reason, just the brush of his lips is the perfect thing to keep me from toppling over the edge of this is all too much. There's a sweetness to his eyes that's not flirty but sincere. The scarring on his face is ghastly, yet his gentleness still shines through the lines that should never have been drawn into his skin. Santos keeps his eyes from me as he starts up the water, and then does something so sweet I can barely stand it. With his eyes closed, he kneels down and removes my socks. My filthy, sweaty socks. It's precious, and I feel too war-torn to be in the same room as such sweetness. You don't have to do that. You're limping still. You shouldn't be kneeling. He picks up his chin but looks to the side with a shrug, and dang if he doesn't have the longest, blackest eyelashes I've ever seen. I should tell him about my encounter with Santiago, but I can't seem to wrap my mind around how crazy it all sounds. A man pulled me from the burning bus, blessed me, and then vanished? I've never told anyone about it. I've always kept that wild event to myself. I convinced myself it was a hallucination born of trauma, which, according to all my years of study, is on the edge of normal, given the situation. I guess I never thought it would all feel so very real. And I never imagined I would stumble upon his twin brother, slamming me in the face with the reality that something irreconcilable was begging me to solve it. My rescuer was real, and unfortunately, he's dead now. When Santos stands, he angles his hips not to bump into anything as he slides gracefully from the room, shutting me in the small space while my knees quake. Santiago wore sandals and cutoffs when he pulled me from the wreckage. Santos is a sight in ripped jeans and a black t-shirt, the mirror image of his brother, exact in poise and that calm demeanor. It's that series of scars marking up Santos's face that makes the two distinct. With his chin-length hair in his face and left cheek scarred, I didn't see the shocking similarity at first. I keep my shower as quick as I can, for fear of some catastrophe happening where I might possibly be pulled naked from the shower. I don't want to look at my stitches in the mirror when I emerge, clean but still shaken. I don't want to have stitches. I'm grateful for the fog that covers over the glass, so I can't see clearly myself and the mess that I am. Being clean is a nice luxury, though, so I decide to be grateful for that at least. My fingers are clumsy and weak as I try to tug my new jeans on one-handed. They're not too bad a fit, and slide over my curvy hips without too much struggle. It's the black t-shirt that gives me problems. I can't lift my left arm to thread it through after I manage to work the thing over my head. I decide to take a break from the frustration and sit on the toilet lid. I pull out my phone from my purse, texting Tomas that I won't be in to work for the rest of the week. When I can't struggle with my shirt anymore, I finally make the chagrined call to Santos through the door. "Santos, are you there?" "Just me, Linda. Santos is showering in my room. What do you need?" "Nothing. I'll figure it out." "I'm coming in." I hold tight to the handle in panic. "No, I'm okay. It's just this shirt. I can't get it on without moving my shoulder, which I really can't do. I'm afraid I'm going to rip my stitches open." Raphael's voice loses a bit of its play. "Fine. Then I'm coming in with my eyes closed. It's either that or you get in the car topless. I'm not opposed to that option, but it might be more attention than we're hoping to attract. I grab the damp towel and cover my breasts, mortified that this is how my morning is going. I need to lie down. My head feels muddled and my limbs are sluggish. I lower my chin as I sit back down atop the toilet lid. Okay, fine. This is just the worst. Raphael grins. Is it really? Because I'm having a great day all of a sudden. He's just goofy enough to make me groan at his awful humor. For some reason, him trying to get under my skin sets loose my personality, which I've been trying to keep away from them. His stupid jokes remind me to give myself permission to exhale every now and then. Not every moment is harrowing. Not every encounter needs an exhausting amount of scrutiny. Raphael comes in with his eyes closed, but then harumphs and opens them. What's the point if you're going to be covered up? You were peeking! I accused with an indignant huff. At your scandalous towel? Sure, I guess I was. Come on, let me help you before Cruz gets in here. I'm guessing you don't want assistance from our fearless leader? That's the bucket of cold water over my head for sure. No way do I want Cruz to see me like this. I can't get it. And this part is just... I can help. Hold still. Mind if I stretch out the shirt a little? Fine by me. He yanks at the collar that's dangling around my neck like it's a dog's play toy, pulling it until the fabric creaks. That's better. Okay, it still might hurt, but I'll make sure nothing tears your stitches. I bite down on my lower lip and nod, readying myself for yet more pain. Raphael is gentle in his fluid movements, stretching the shirt to its limit so he can thread my arm through. It hurts, and for a second, I'm certain the stitches have ripped open again. But when it's all said and done, the pain was the worst of it, and my wound remains untorn. Thank you. Oh, that's much better not to be in bloody, filthy clothes. He tips his chin to me. You sure you don't need my help getting out of your shirt? I'm much better at the end of things. At that end of things. Dressing a woman is counterintuitive. I mime a laugh and actually find myself grinning, which I'll admit I didn't think possible today. Thanks for making a joke. This is all a bit much for me. He sits down on the edge of the tub so he can level with me. He stares into my eyes with a seriousness that is so strange to see I can't look away. Look, I know Cruz went about everything the wrong way. He doesn't think sometimes. He's military and little else. My mouth tightens. If this is the part where you stick up for him, you can save it. It's not. He was wrong and I won't defend him. He'd only be angry at me if I did. I just wanted to tell you that whatever secret it is that you're holding on to, we can't help you if we don't have all the facts. And if the Kalku are after you, then, like it or not, you'll need our help. I mull over his words before offering up a succinct nod. I'll take that into consideration. Raphael lets out a long sigh. Well, it looks like I have no other choice. If Cruz couldn't torture the information out of you, it's time to send in the closer. He stands and turns his backside to me, and I truly have no idea what to expect. Then he starts up a slow shimmy, shaking his butt in my face just to make me laugh. What? I'm to seduce the truth from you, or would you prefer some of this action instead? He turns at the sound of my giggles spilling out all over the tiled floor, and jiggles his shoulders as if he'd very much like to shake his invisible boobs in my face. This isn't working, I see. Time to unload the fart blaster. I confess! I laugh, the back of my hand swooning across my forehead. The secret is that I'm allergic to terrible dancing and toxic farts. Stop it now, or I'll break out in hives. He stops undulating and stands straight, his mouth pouting with affront. Terrible dancing? You're a cruel lover, Adelita. Beautiful but cruel. He fake cries loudly as I shove him out of the bathroom door. Then he pops right back in with a toothbrush and toothpaste, which are just about the best things he could possibly show me. How much do you love me now? A travel toothbrush pretty much means you're in with the cool kids. Lucky me. Oh, I'm so grateful I could cry. Brushing my teeth makes me feel that much more human. Everything I do is slower, and done while fighting through brain fog and clumsy fingers. But I manage to clean myself up enough to stumble out into the main room and sit on the bed. Cruz comes in, refusing to look at me while he picks up my purse. "Car," is all he says to me by way of an invitation. I don't want to go anywhere with him, but the puzzle is too intriguing now. I truly have no idea who the Kelku are or what their endgame is in attacking me. Cruz is a bastard for sure, but he has answers, so I follow him out of the motel and into the unknown. That was the end of chapter 8. We did it! My goal this year is to read 50 books. That was my same goal last year. I mentioned this before. For you silly, sneaky first-time viewers, you should read the first 7 chapters because that just made no sense to you. But as most of you know, I last year set a goal to read 50 books by the end of the year, and I did it. And I read 85, and I was so proud of myself. It's like, oh my gosh, like I feel like that was the most books I've ever read in one year, which is great. Also, maybe a little bit sad because I have an English degree and maybe I should have read more books. But in one calendar year, that was pretty cool. So this year I have the same goal to read 50 books. Be so proud of me for not like upping my goal just because I reached a goal. Like, no, that was a reasonable goal for me. And so I am reading, and I am very much enjoying it. So whatever your bookish goals are for this year, if you have any, if you don't have any, that's okay too. You don't need a goal for everything. But if it is your goal to read more books this year or to read a book this year, thank you for joining me and letting me read to you. If you watch all the videos that I post every Tuesday, then today you have read chapter 8. And we will keep going through the rest of the book. And by the end of the year, you'll have read a whole book with me. Isn't that nice? Just while you're like in your favorite cardigan or in your jammies and you just have like the author reading her own book to you. I kind of want that. I want an author to read her book to me. I must research more audiobooks. That will be what happens. But I am not good enough to record my audiobooks for you and like charge you for them. That is for actual actors and producers, which I am neither of those things. So you get to see it for free on YouTube because you're so lucky. Thanks for spending time with me today, and go read something fun. Go be you.